Redditors with roommates, what are some of the weirdest things a roommate of yours has done? If you enjoy this video, consider giving it a like and subscribing. In college my roommate pretended he had a girlfriend who lived in England. We are in the US. Used to talk to her on the phone and everything, while we would both be in the dorm. My roommate was Facebook friends with her of course and a few of her friends who he had met while visiting her. He used to talk about how much he missed her, especially having sex with her etc. Found out after I moved out she never existed. Fake profile, fake name, fake pics. He was talking to no one, except himself, on the phone. I have no idea why he'd go to such lengths for this lie, but I felt really weird about the whole thing once I found out. Roommate used to come home late and drunk often. He would raid the kitchen and eat all the food. Next day he would have no memory of eating it all. Presume it was me who had done it, then get cross. I would be awoken by the sounds of things hitting my bedroom door, bumps, bunks, splats etc. It was him throwing the mess at my door. Would often wake up to food leftovers splattered all over the place. Baked bean, yogurts, all sorts of random stuff. Before I moved in, he had also covered up vomit with his sofa instead of cleaning it up, which I later found out about. Lived with him a year before I escaped. He was a nasty vile man. Had a roommate that was easily distracted by things. Anything. He could have a thought about why stars are certain colors and then go on a mission to find out why. Or maybe it would be a curiosity of the air pressure in his tires. The problem was that when this happened he would just wander off from whatever task or activity he was doing at the time. So many burnt dinners and messes left throughout the house. I used to live with a guy who would watch a particularly disturbing serial killer movie on repeat, in the dark, while sitting about 12 inches from the TV screen. He would never look up or say hi when I would get home. Just sit there in pitch black watching women get murdered on repeat. Woke up to sound of shouting on bullhorns and found cops in backyard telling me to get back inside. Went to front of house to figure out what was going on. As I opened the door cops rushed up and escorted me out to street. Turns out one roommate threatened another roommate with a gun, and now that person was barricaded in his room with an army helmet on and bulletproof vest. There was 7 others living there, some home, some not. Had to draw a diagram of all the rooms, because cops couldn't risk going in right away as we didn't know who was all home or not. Roommates started to taunt cops by throwing lit strings of firecrackers at them. This all started at around 8 PM. At 4 AM he started to throw large objects off of his balcony at cops, so they threw flashbangs and gas canisters at him on balcony. He managed to make it out of his bedroom, rush out the front door with gun showing, and took cops around blind corner from him, rushed him, and took him down. Suffice to say I moved out the next month. My first college roommate hated doing laundry, so he wore my underwear without asking when his was dirty. It never felt like my underwear again after he'd been in it. College roommate. We are taking a road trip to upstate New York, approximately 4-hour drive, and I notice that he has a CDR titled Conversations with John on it. So I ask John what that is. He's hesitant but tells me it's a CD he listens to on long road trips. I pop it in, and the first track starts. It's John himself. Howdy cowboy. How's the road ahead? I turned it right off, and we never spoke of it ever since. Oh man. Let's see. He got in a fight with a homeless lady and lost. Drank his own piss. Got arrested after trying to use an invisible shield to move traffic out of the way. He was on foot in the middle of the street and drank a smoothie which ingredients consisted of milk, his own blood, and his own sailors. Dude lost his mind completely, and I ended up having to get a restraining order against him. 2018 was a hell of a year. My roommate in freshman year of college was this really tall, total bro of a hockey player. When he went to bed one night, I was surprised to see from across the room he took an old stuffed bunny toy in pajamas from under his pillow and kissed it goodnight before hugging it close to him. I soon observed that this was part of his bedtime routine, but I never mentioned it. I was doing my business in the bathroom one day and my roommate opened the door to see me sitting on the toilet. Most normal people would say oh sorry and close the door, but he didn't. We just made eye contact for maybe 20 seconds. Then, without breaking eye contact, He slowly stepped into the bathroom, opened up a drawer under the sink, reached around for whatever he was looking for, still keeping eye contact, and slowly backed away, out of the bathroom, and closing the door. We never talked about it. I went to school in a town where the water has kind of a funky taste. We used one of those Brita water pitchers that you put water in the top and it drops filtered water into the pitcher at the bottom. Well, one of our roommates all semester had been removing the filter and pouring the tap water into the bottom of the pitcher before placing the filter back on top. If you're unaware, as my roommate was, this defeats the entire purpose of the filter. Dorm room had 2 bedrooms with 2 people sharing each bedroom and a personal common area and bathroom. College roommate in the other bedroom smelled like death. He had some weight issues, smoked cigarettes, and never seemed to shower. The roommate in my bedroom literally saw him with crap on the back of his pants one day as he sat all over the common area couches. The smell was so bad that we were unable to use the common area and literally held our breaths from the bedroom to the hallway. We always had to keep our bedroom door closed and douse it with Febreze every couple days or so. It was hell. Not me, but my girlfriend's brother went through this. He lived in a quad with 3 other dudes. All met through Facebook before moving in. Everyone was pretty normal until about a month in. The one guy would never leave his bed and would only eat pizza. He would leave the empty pizza boxes in his bed and either sleep with them on top of or under him. He never threw them out. The real nail in the coffin was when he apparently clogged the toilet. The plunger wasn't getting the job done, and after 15 minutes he panicked. He walked out of the bathroom, took a wire hanger out of his closet, fashioned it into a stick, and went back in. The toilet flushed. He came back out, fashioned the hanger back into a hanger shape, rinsed it off, and put his shirt back on the hanger into the closet. Another one. This one was fucking crazy. The moment I first walked into the room, the living room had a smell I couldn't place. For weeks I was bugged by this smelly smell that smelled smelly, and I ended up moving the furniture around to see if I could find it. No dice. Finally, I literally got on my hands and knees and started sniffing for the source. It led me to the dresser with one of my 5 roommates' names on a sticky note on it. Of course I had never opened it. He was gone this weekend, so I took the shot. I opened the drawer for half a second because the instant I opened it flies shot the fuck out. I slammed that MF closed and said to my other roommate Jiang Fan, "Get the tape." We taped it shut, moved the dresser outside onto the outdoor walkway, and opened it up and bolted. Again, flies, but this time the source was plain to see. A Cowles Jr. bag with a grease spot underneath it covered with dead larvae shells etc. I didn't dare look into the bag. It was disposed of in an outdoor trash can. Then we cleaned that drawer with soapy water. There was no indication the roommate has used this drawer. There was even a brand new, packaged power strip and some canned soda in there. Bonus. Later in the year I entered his room to take out the trash, and his desk was fucking so gross. Old boba cups with fruit flies on it, trash and stuff. And he was a medical biology major. You'd think he'd understand the importance of cleanliness. College girlfriend's roommate's boyfriend, was a little odd, but okay when we first met him. Then in the middle of a party, when he was really drunk, he very matter-of-factly stripped naked, carefully moved everything from the kitchen sink cabinet, and arranged it on the floor, crawled in and pulled the door closed. We mentioned this to his girlfriend. She shrugged and said, "Yeah, he does that when he's wasted." Not long after we were at a party, when it was getting late, girlfriend is wandering around party asking, "Where is boyfriend?" Someone points out his clothes and shoes are stacked by the front door, and that he said he was walking home naked. In February, in Pennsylvania. 6 inches of fresh snow outside. It was maybe 20 Fahrenheit and home was almost 2 miles away. I lived with 3 of the worst girls I've ever met when I was in college. I signed a year-long lease with them and lasted 2 months before I noped out and found some poor soul to take over my lease. They ignored me 98% of the time, except for when they ate my food in the fridge before going downtown, which they did every week Thursday, Sunday, and when they locked themselves out, which happened Thursday, Sunday coming home from the bar. Also when they stood outside my door and loudly made fun of me or mocked my appearance. So I'm a pretty chill person. I would hang out with other friends and just come home to sleep. Then another friend accidentally let it slip to one of the girls that I'm allergic to avocado. Now, it's just when I eat it, I can be around avocado with no adverse effects. The next day I open the fridge, and they've cut all their avocados in half and piled them on and around my food in the fridge. They didn't know that I only get sick when I eat avocado, so they just went and wasted time and money in the hopes of what? Poisoning me? Making me sick? Giving me an allergic reaction? Come on. It's pretty mild in terms of terrible roommate stories, but it was just the tip of the iceberg. I detest the B word, but I would use it to describe every one of those stupid girls. This is probably pretty standard and doesn't get really exciting until the end, kind of. Used to live with a very large guy. I forget his real name because everyone called him Crumb for always having crumbs all over his shirt. Anyways, after losing a job and accepting a different job for less pay, I needed a roommate, so I moved in with a guy. First day I moved in, he tried raising the rent we agreed upon by $100. Then when I was surprised and said that's not what we agreed on, he muttered under his breath that this is a bad idea and he's going to regret it. He didn't have a job, but I was confused how he still has money and how he paid rent. I was dumbfounded, but for some reason didn't move out right there. Something I noticed while living there was that he never left the living room aside from answering the door for pizza. Otherwise he was there at all hours playing D&D with people online. I introduced him to a girl hoping he'd move and hang out with her. Instead he just chatted with her online. The place ended up getting cockroaches and it was disgusting. Then the kicker is, he literally cracked the toilet by sitting on it, not to mention how it was depressed into the ground. I had a girl over with me and she couldn't stop laughing about the toilet. I really need a visual representation to describe how bad it was. When I moved in, the kitchen was disgusting and he promised to clean it. He never did. So I did to be nice. It didn't take long for it to get disgusting again, and he never cleaned, he just lived off Pizza Hut. Eventually I got sick of living in the shithole. Literally I was deathly ill and couldn't leave my bed for a week. So I told him I was moving out. As I was moving out, there was a note on the door that I owed $4,000, which in retrospect never made sense, since I only lived there for maybe 5 months in unpaid rent. I didn't think clearly and got pissed off at him, demanding to know what he had been doing with my money. Later, after I calmed down, I saw the note was addressed to him, but he whited out his name and put mine. I called the apartment complex, only to find out they've been out of business for months. The entire time I lived there was noon for him to pay rent too. He was basically squatting. He was pocketing the money I was giving him. If you enjoy these videos, please consider subscribing.